What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Against All Odds podcast. It's been a while. I haven't done that intro in a while, but it feels good. To be honest, the whole Against All Odds podcast hasn't really been around. We haven't really done an episode in like a year, almost exactly a year because of COVID and quarantine and everything. And I just thought, I didn't know if it was right to start inviting people into the apartment during the midst of a pandemic. But now with the team being tested all the time, I feel pretty comfortable and I'm excited for this new season. Today I'm here with Mimi. Mimi, you want to say hi?
What's up?
How you feeling today?
I'm just kind of thrown off by this whole time change thing.
Because it's daylight savings time?
Yeah, it's it's 7. It's past 7. I feel like it's like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I saw actually somewhere that there's a petition to get rid of it in general, to be honest.
Yeah, I might sign that petition.
Okay.
Send it over.
All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. How did I do that? Roll
the intro?
Roll intro. I forgot what I did, but here's the intro. Okay, so in this podcast, we're kind of just going to talk about the last month or so of kind of like moving into the apartment, the behind the scenes. I want to go into some specifics about like how contracts work in the USL in terms of like housing and living and my past contracts and teammates, like what they've been dealing with moving around and bouncing around in the USL and everything. And as well as just kind of like random stuff. And then in the future, with future episodes, start bringing in teammates and doing the typical talking about players' lives and all that stuff. So we've been now living in this apartment for 3 weeks. How has the last 3 weeks, the move, everything been for you? Settling into Tulsa again.
Well, obviously it was the easiest because it was the third time we've done this. So pretty seamless. I
So
think.
we're like pros now?
Yeah. I mean, the only problem has been the houseplant situation, really. That's it.
We've been trying to get plants for our apartment. And I don't know if you probably can't see it, but it's right here. We got a plant. But we got this one big plant because it's very hard to find plants that cats are not they're not toxic to cats. Mm-hmm. And then we found this one that was really cool. What was it called?
It was the only one I could find that was not toxic to Gucci. And it was a dwarf cypress. It was really cute. Brought it home for one day and Shelly just like almost died. It was so bad.
My eyes were puffy. I probably sneezed every 5 minutes for
probably like every minute.
For a good 24, 48 hours.
Bad. He said his chest hurt from sneezing so much.
I sneezed so much. I almost had a sore throat. I was sneezing so much. I thought I had COVID, to be honest, for a couple hours. And I'm like, no,
Great.
it's definitely the plant.
So I literally had to dig it out of the pot that I had potted it in, and I had to return the tree. And I had already returned the smaller plant because I got 2 plants because Gucci ate it and almost died. So then I had to return and switch out that one.
So dramatic.
So now it's just like ridiculous. I've gone to this nursery like 10 times, and we went today to look for a new little tree for the living room that Shelly isn't allergic to and Gucci's not allergic to and toxic to. Doesn't exist.
That's tough. First world problems.
Yeah,
really
but everything
is.
else in the apartment is really nice. We got new sofas.
Yep. So that's why this is the starting filming the first podcast now, is because we got the couches or the sofas, whatever. They're not sectionals.
Sofa is the technical term.
Sofas. We got the sofas and they're fantastic. I've already taken multiple naps on it, and I think this is pretty good. With having 2 now, it's a good podcast setup, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like it's not awkward, like sitting right next to each other.
We just need one more camera that shows
both.
The full thing.
Yeah, in due time, it will happen. But yeah, no, I'm really, really liking this. I decided to move out from my last apartment, or we decided to move out from the last apartment because I really enjoyed that being so close to the training facilities. It was literally a 3-minute drive over there. So nice. 3-minute drive to Target, 3-minute drive to like everything that you need. But it wasn't like the most fun area because especially with quarantine and lockdown, we wanted to go on we went on a lot of walks last year. We're trying to go in cooler areas just to be outside, and it wasn't the best area for that. But do you like this area more than the last apartment?
I like my location a lot better. There's a couple crazies outside, but I mean, you have to deal with that, I guess, in any downtown city. So.
Yeah, just people yelling, loud cars, sirens.
Yeah.
But it's the closest I've actually been to downtown, I feel like, for any apartment I've had. It's like 5-minute drive, if that. right into downtown, which is cool. And it's like walking distance to some cool like coffee shops and close to like a very nice like area that we like to go eat and stuff. So yeah, not bad. And the apartment complex is super nice already. I really like it. It's a little bit smaller than the last one, but I think it's upgrading in terms of
the quality's definitely better. It feels very high end, cozy.
Yeah, and we got the mirror
moody.
with the lights behind it. Whenever I go into team training, whenever I go into training, everyone's like, "Hey, how's your mirror going?" I'm like, "It's fantastic, bro."
That's like Bradley when I was talking to him. He's like, "How's the light?" I was like, "I have a lot of lights. Like, you have to be more specific, Bradley." He's like, "In the bathroom." I was like, "What?" He's like, "The mirror light." I was like, I didn't know it was like a topic of discussion on the team.
No, I've been bragging about it to my teammates. And then this is kind of brings me to the next kind of thing that I really want to talk about was like why, like for most USL teams, I want to give you guys some insight to how kind of like contracts work in the USL, and every league is going to be different. For example, in MLS, they don't give team housing. They don't have like a stipend for housing. Usually it's just your yearly salary. They give you your yearly
I didn't know
salary.
that.
Really?
Yeah, you never told me that.
Yeah. In the MLS, it's like they just give you a yearly salary and then you find your own apartment. It's just like a normal job. Like they give you the salary. And the USL and the second division in the USL League One, technically the third division, and I think in the NISA, most teams will have team housing so that they'll have like apartments that players can choose to live in for free. And you really just have to pay for like your internet and maybe your utilities sometimes. And that's really nice, especially because the USLs, you're not being paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's really nice to get rent paid for a lot of the times, especially when you're starting out. Or like what I did and I have been doing for the last few years is you get a stipend and you get to take the stipend that they would be giving you for the free housing. And you take that and then you can basically just get cash, an extra addition of cash every month and use that for your rent. So that's what I've been doing the last few years. Yeah. And we got lucky last year because the housing wasn't the best, I felt like. But this year the housing is pretty nice. So it could have been good, but I think that
the team housing.
Yeah, the team housing. But I think
like, ours was fine.
No, the team housing. Yeah. But like I think that it's always better to like just have your choice, because sometimes you're kind of like looking for something very specific, like especially with you being an interior designer and us being like podcasts and filming and lights and windows and stuff. It's kind of picky, you know. You think we got it with this one? You think you're happy?
I'm never happy.
Yeah, you could say that again.
No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. I just think that, I'm like hyper aware of every like little detail. So I feel like no matter where I am, like I'm going to find things, you know?
Yeah. It's going to be good when we get a house, because I feel like actually I think what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to the first showings for
That's
tons.
What you said. You're like, I'm not going with you to every single one because I'm definitely going to like, I need to see a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm going to need to have options, and I'm probably going to rule out them very quickly.
Because you're picky to a fault, and this works. I'm happy with it to a fault.
He would buy a house and not know that there's like a hole in the floor in the kitchen.
Or a basement.
What?
Like I wouldn't know. I don't know.
What?
Like I wouldn't know. I'd be like, I'd buy the house, and all of a sudden, like a week later, I'm like, oh, cool, we got a basement.
Yeah, like you just wouldn't. Like he literally will go to a store and he'll just buy stuff off the shelf and not look at it and get home, and it's like the wrong item.
The milk, it always gets me. I always just pick up the fat-free milk.
He just bought skim milk, and he was trying to buy whole milk. Like who messes that up?
Because I'm focused on trying to get the lactose-free version of the milk. I got that. I locked that down, but I wasn't worried about the whole milk, 2%, 1%.
But see, the problem with that is like when we were looking at apartments, you saw one apartment and you just loved the view. And I was like, well, didn't you pay attention to like the dingy carpets, like the dark hallways, like the location of the gym? You're like, what? I don't remember any of that. I just remember the view is really good. It's like, okay.
I'm an optimist. Just focus on the good things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so it's a good mix. It's a good balance. But yeah, I mean, and then other news too. I've kind of talked about this a little bit in the vlog, but like, this is the first time that we flew out here and shipped the car, which was nice, expensive, but it was nice, but it kind of worked out. Like when you factor in the hotels and the gas and the food that you eat out and everything, it was decently priced. But yeah, we shipped out the car here. It was a pretty smooth process. Everything, like since we've done this, like this is our 6th year now of moving or doing this, I feel like we kind of got it down. It's like, okay, get the apartment first. Then you worry about the setting up the water and electricity. Then you worry about how you're going to get your car and furniture there. And then it's kind of like a process that your Wi-Fi is already set up so you can get there and already start having Wi-Fi. Like it's a very like boom, 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 just knocking out steps. And I think we did pretty good.
I feel like very adult about that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we've moved more times than any human should probably in their lifetime.
Well, I mean,
we're not hunter-gatherers anymore. Like we are supposed to find a place we want to be and just stay there.
Yeah, but think about, I mean, so many people have jobs, so they move around a ton though.
I know, but not every 10 months. That's like military
people.
But
I mean, there's still people that do that. I mean, it's extreme, but like, yeah. And a lot of people I was even seeing like in the comment section of the YouTube video when I was kind of like going over, like saying this, like, look, I'm here for, to the end of the season, and then talking about moving back in again. People are asking like, what do you do with your furniture? What do you do with like your stuff having a 10-month contract? Because most, every contract I've ever had has been 10 months, 10, 11-month contracts. And it's tough. I mean, there's no way around it.
There's
like
3 options.
Yeah.
You either keep your apartment over the off season, keep all your stuff and not have to move, or you get a storage unit and put all your stuff in the storage unit wherever your team was, and then go live your off season. Or the third option is to take everything with you and not leave anything behind, or leave like a couple things behind because you don't know where you're going to go. And it's hard because a lot of times beginning of the off season, you don't know what your plan is for the next year. So you can be like, oh, we'll just get a storage unit, but
yeah,
so you might be on the other side of the world.
The last 3 years, like I kind of had an idea that I was coming back to Tulsa, like all from like even 2018 to 2019, 2019 to 2020, 2020 to 2021. I had an idea I was coming to Tulsa. So like it wasn't for sure though, but I would get a storage unit and kind of throw stuff in there and just kind of like sit and be like, well, if I don't sign at Tulsa, I sign somewhere else. You
probably knew you were going to sign at Tulsa, but then you're like, I'll just give Mimi the idea that maybe we'll go to Europe or Thailand.
Yeah, but
along you knew we were coming
You never
back.
know, because like I've had so many contracts or coaches or people be like, look, yeah, we want to sign you. We're all set to go. And then it fall through and it doesn't work out. So you just never want to like in my mind, I don't like, if I'm just like, yeah, I'm coming back to Tulsa, and then I stop looking, I'm stopped talking to my agent doing that, that's when it's going to fall through. And that's when you're going to come around January and be without a contract and be panicking. So it's like, I kind of almost do that to myself, even though I know it's 99% sure I'm coming back to Tulsa or wherever, that I'm like, in my mind, I was like, oh, it's 50-50 because I don't want to get that, like, if it does fall through, I don't want to be panicking later.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing about this coming off season, which will have to be like a whole separate episode, but we're getting married. You're finishing your season. So you'll finish your season.
Yeah.
We have to somehow get to San Diego really quickly, move out of our apartment, do something with all of our stuff. You have to have a bachelor party. I have to have a bridal shower, bachelorette party. We're still having an engagement party.
We're not going to have it.
I told you my godmother wants to throw it for us. And
is your godmother?
Anne?
I haven't met Anne.
That's why we're having an engagement party.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then, so we're getting married early December, then we have to go on a honeymoon, and then it's Christmas, and then it's like
preseason will start again.
Preseason. And so I'm just not worried because I don't think you'll have the problem, but I want you to be able to enjoy that off season and like relax and enjoy your wedding and enjoy the honeymoon. And I feel like if you are stressing, like, where am I going to go? Do I have a contract? Do I have a backup? Like, I feel like it's just going to make it like way harder to enjoy what we have scheduled.
Yeah. No, it will be.
Yeah. So no pressure, but do really good this season.
Yeah, no pressure.
Score 10 goals.
Yeah, so no, that's just, I mean, there's no way around it though.
Yeah.
It's basically like, it's just tough. It's just difficult. Like, you just know that like all of this stuff in this apartment that took so long to get it moved in and set up and everything, in less than a year, you're just moving it all back out. And so like for the end of the season, again, after this season, most likely we will put it in a storage unit somewhere, depending on where I think, whether I'm coming back here, whether it's going somewhere else, whatever, putting it in a storage unit and just keeping it there for a few months while then we forget about it and focus on getting married in San Diego and that kind of stuff. And then as soon as you get the new contract, either back in Tulsa or wherever, whenever happens, then it's okay, now let's focus on the storage unit again, get that stuff, and then bringing all that stuff to your new place.
But if it is like abroad or somewhere far away, then you
just leave it in the storage unit.
It's not worth it to ship all your silverware from San Diego across the world. So then it's like, do you keep a storage unit for a year? Do you sell it?
Yeah.
Do you put it in your parents' house?
And that's almost like there's always like two, I feel like as for pro players, there's always like two types of players. And usually like the younger players, like if you guys have seen the younger players up until about 25, usually just go light. They don't own any furniture. They just show up. They have like one suitcase. They have one backpack and they just travel wherever. And the team sets them up with like a furnished apartment. The team will set them up with everything else, you know. They'll buy like dollar store pots and pans and plates and stuff. Or if they're on a huge contract, they'll just buy new stuff all the time. But at the lower leagues, they'll buy the dollar store pots and pans and knives and forks.
Walmart, like plastic plates.
Yeah, the pillows. And then come season, at the end of the season, they just kind of like donate everything or throw it away and then repeat. Just leave with the suitcase and backpack again. But then as most players get older, they kind of want to start becoming adults, kind of like what you've seen with my channel. You're like, okay. And your contracts usually get better and better. So you're like, okay, like I want to get a little bit nicer couch. I kind of want to get a lamp. I kind of want to have a nightstand. I kind of want to.
Yeah, next year's the big year. We're going to get nightstands.
You think?
Next year's
We'll
because
see.
we've updated.
But what if it's over in Europe?
We'll get European nightstands. What are you saying?
So, but usually that's what happens. Usually when you get older, then you have to spend more money moving all the stress of moving all the furniture and everything. But like even like talking to like Chase Boone, who I train with in off season, he's like 24. He's one of the younger guys and he doesn't
have anything.
He's like, yeah, bro, I go over to Denmark with my suitcase and a backpack. I got a couple black t-shirts, a couple white t-shirts, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, no, he's crazy.
But that's what I was like. That's how I went to Germany.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, yeah, it's fine for a couple years, but then pretty soon, like, you want to start accumulating things.
Yeah. I went to Germany like that. I went to St. Louis almost like that. I went to Orange County like that. In Orange County was a mattress on the floor, you know, because especially there, I was only there for 4 months finishing out the season. Yeah. So there especially, it was very light.
Our mattress is lifted now, so it's
now we got
elevated. And
so every year I feel like you kind of accumulate a little bit more, but still even as you're accumulating stuff, you're still kind of forced to be a minimalist in sorts. Like you kind of get.
I would consider us you like joke about it that I'm not a minimalist, but like for most people our age, we don't have that much stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I go back and forth. Sometimes I think we're minimalist, and other times I'm like, no, we got way too much stuff.
Princess.
What's up, Gooch?
Somebody's awake. Oh, pretty girl.
But yeah, and then so like another example too is like one of my teammates here at Tulsa, Joaquin. Joaquin basically he was playing at St. Louis last year, so St. Louis FC. He knew he was going to come and sign for Tulsa, but he spends off season in Las Vegas with his family. So he basically was in St. Louis, took all of his furniture and everything with his girlfriend, and they drove down to Tulsa. It was probably like 7-hour drive. Put it all in a storage unit
Vegas?
Here. No, from St. Louis.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, you gotta follow. Come on. Drove 6-7 hours down here, and then with the U-Hauls, it's always cheaper to drop them off at the same place that you pick them up. So then he drove back to St. Louis, dropped off the U-Haul, picked back up his car, drove to Las Vegas, spent off season in Las Vegas, drove back here to Tulsa at the start of preseason.
I would have paid him to not do that. Like honestly.
Yeah, but. It's every single player goes through that, and unless you're on a 5-year contract at Man United, you know, and getting paid millions, you really don't have to deal with that. But even then, like it's crazy over there. Like you'll still get loaned out, you still get unhappy, and you ask to be transferred or you ask you to be whatever. It's like it's never as secure as you like imagine. Yeah, Gucci's just chilling on your lap, huh?
She loves me.
Also, I kind of wrote down some stuff. I'm going to kind of go over this, but I talked about the stipend for housing. Why, like we talked about why I wanted to do the stipend for housing, but I kind of wanted to also go over my previous teams and kind of talk about the like situation if I got a stipend or what, just to show you, give you some insight on those. But basically in Germany, I just got that housing in Germany. If you guys remember that attic, tiny little apartment that worked out really well.
Loft.
That was like my manager's friend, and they kind of just gave me that loft. Oh, your camera just shut out. Okay. That's the one thing I don't like about podcasts is that
All of this stuff.
no, well, I mean, just like it's annoying to like, why can't cameras record longer than 30 minutes?
Because maybe it's like a safety thing, so that if you leave it on, turns off. They probably have cameras that are for podcasts that last longer than 20 minutes.
I got to do some research about that because it's annoying to do that.
Yeah, it's kind
Anyway,
of
I had
frustrating.
to just change out the camera because one of them, the battery was dying or whatever. But yeah, I want to give a little bit of insight on like the different contracts I've had and like the housing situation. Gucci, you knock that light over, I'm going to kill you.
Hey, she's just a child.
Anyway, yeah, so like my very first contract, Germany, the housing was pretty much just provided for me by the manager of the club, and it worked out really well. And then Orange County, same thing. Actually, no, Orange County, I had a $500 stipend there. And living in Orange County is a nightmare with housing costs.
You can basically buy a cereal box for $500.
Yeah, so I basically lived with like four other teammates, so 5 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment, which is just crazy. But Orange County's gotten so much better. They got new owners and really ramped up. That was like kind of like the early stages of the USL, and it wasn't the best back then. And then at St. Louis, team housing, they had 2-bedroom apartment, and I lived with Dragan Stoikov, and it was great setup, pretty nice apartments.
I was there as well.
You kind of bounced in and out, yeah. How long were you there
I was
for?
there for like half the season.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't remember.
You don't remember me being there?
No.
Are you serious?
No, I remember. And then New Zealand, I lived with the host family, the Hornsbys. Great experience there. And then when Mimi came in, we kind of just got our own place just on my own dime. And then Tulsa the first year was stipend, or no stipend. Second year stipend, third year, this year stipend. So I just kind of like, that's what I've been just choosing to do with the contracts. And that's what I've kind of found, especially as players get older again and they get like pets or dogs or kids. They don't want to be in the team housing either with an apartment or like with a roommate or anything. So they kind of get, like they're like, you know what, time for a house or time for my own 2-bedroom or time like me and my wife want to pick out, our own apartment or whatever. So that's typically what happens. But then if you're alone, it's great to have a roommate and live with another guy. It's just rides and some companies. You're not still alone in your apartment all the time. So you're just going to have to figure out what's right for you at that time of your life. Yeah.
I don't know, being alone kind of sounds nice.
You'd think that, but like you're alone.
I know that.
You're alone in a place and you only have your teammates. And it's not like you have your family, you don't have any other friends. Yeah, but you
see your teammates every single day.
Yeah, but
like it's nice to that's one thing that I don't like about roommates is that like when you come home from work, you come home from school, like I just feel like you're around people all day and you just kind of want like
yeah, but there's pros and cons. 'Cause
silence.
sometimes like if things aren't going well, it's not fun to come back into a quiet apartment and just be like just chilling. Like in Germany,
I think it depends on the person.
In Germany, I wish I had a host family or I wish I had a roommate.
Well,
there.
it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't know if I would like having a host family, because then you kind of have to like abide by and respect like their
there's just
schedule.
Pros and cons.
No, it depends on the person. Not everybody likes the same thing.
Yeah, no, I agree, but there are pros and cons to it.
But then you agree that I can like something that you.
But have you ever just lived alone in an apartment?
No, because of you.
Yeah, no, so that's what I'm saying. Like
I've lived alone though.
No.
With a roommate. But the thing, okay, this is the thing. I've lived in apartments where like my roommate has been a stranger and we didn't talk.
Yeah,
like they literally were a stranger. So I feel like I was like living alone. Like it wasn't an interaction thing.
Yeah, but still it's I feel like it's just like that's different than just you are actually alone.
I think I would enjoy that. 100%.
No, I mean, like I said, it's nice at times.
I would enjoy that.
It's nice at times.
I'm telling. Admit that I would enjoy that.
I think you would enjoy parts of it, but I think it gets very lonely. You live over in Germany by yourself for 9 months. It gets hard to just be by yourself every single day, and just in your own head talking to yourself.
But that's your situation because you you went to training, which was like an hour or 2 hours. You weren't with people all day. You were literally just by yourself in this apartment all day long. Normal people have normal jobs and they go out and they see people and they see friends and they're interacting with humans all day. And then they come home and they just want to lay down or watch TV.
Yeah, that's true.
You were in your own head the entire time.
Yeah. No, I think that was an extreme example.
Like imagine if you had your own apartment and you were in San Diego, Seattle, Portland, like you'd love that. That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think it'd be tough.
Okay, agree to disagree.
We'll agree to disagree on this one. But yeah.
We'll disagree to agree.
Disagree to agree. Do you want to talk about a little bit about what you've been up to in terms of, because also another thing about moving around every 9 months is that it's very hard for Mimi or other wives or fiancés or whatever to basically figure out what they're going to do. Yeah, have a life, have a career. And there's kind of like three things that people like girlfriends, wives, or fiancés do is they either drop everything and kind of follow their husband or a significant other around and basically like, yeah, I'll pick up odd jobs or just be a stay-at-home like wife or mom during like the seasons, or they kind of do like back and forth and kind of like, oh, I work in Dallas, but then I'll come over up on the weekends and see you, or be out here or work remotely a little bit, or they just do long distance for the entire season. And I've seen all three, and I've seen all three work, and I've seen all three not work. So do you want to talk about what you are doing this season and the little things that you got this year?
Well, before we moved back here, I got some of my own design jobs in San Diego, my own clients there. So I've been continuing to work on those jobs, but at the same time, I feel like I won't be able to sustain that work because they always say, like, have you heard that saying where it's like, you need to look for work like the most when you're busiest? Have you heard that?
No.
Because maybe it's like a design thing, because with jobs, a lot of times, like it takes a couple months, especially a couple weeks to get going on a project. So if you wait until you have no work, it's too late.
There's another 3 months of nothing.
Yeah. Cause there's like this waiting period. So they always say, like, a lot of times, like people make that mistake when they're busy and they have work and they have clients, they don't look for more work.
Yeah.
So they wait until it's too late. So what I was doing was I was trying to avoid that happening. So I just reached out to companies in Tulsa and I just asked if they needed any drafting work done, any extra bits that can be done remotely or in the office, like whatever, because nobody was hiring. Like I couldn't find any positions open in Tulsa at all for design. So I just emailed them and I knew somebody would be desperate. Like I knew somebody would need something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And somebody did. So I've just been doing some drafting work and it's actually a lot of work to do. These drawings are just endless.
Yeah, Mimi's like will be starting like the AutoCAD and Revit drafting work when I'm leaving for the double day. And then as I come back from my second double day, she's still doing it. She just takes a small break when I'm coming back for lunch. And then like even today, what is today? Sunday? Yeah, it's today's Sunday. And she's been doing work.
Probably put in like 7 hours.
I was going to say
today.
7-8 hours today. Yeah.
And you made me stop. Like I would have.
I was like,
I'm kind of pissed off that I have to do
I was
this
like, we need to film a podcast.
I'm drawing
Let's
a
go.
laundry room. I need to finish.
But yeah, no, you're it's good though, because I think that it's so nice. I mean, I think like it's kind of like why I was like lonely in Germany is because it's almost like when you don't have much to do and you just get in your own head, like you're just bored, and boredom leads to just not being happy. Like I think happiness is like you have to be doing something actively.
Yeah, you have to be busy. And I think what's great about this job that I got with the designer here, she said, and she has like a pretty big office, because a lot of designers don't have like a huge office. It's usually just enough for like a workspace, whatever. But hers is like pretty decent. And she said that I can go work there whenever I want, if I want to get out of my apartment. So I have somewhere to go. I just haven't really, I get so like obsessed with what I'm doing that I can't even leave though.
Do you think you're going to go like this week? Like try to just pop in the office?
I was going to kind of wait till you were done with double days, because I feel like the car situation's too complicated.
Yeah, that's true.
And you only have like one more week of that.
Yeah. Double days are wearing me down. We got double day Monday, double day Tuesday, and then I think it's really going to be easing up because the last 2 weeks have been like about 3-4 double days a week, which is just, it's tiring. But I think this year Mike and the coaching staff and everything, they've done such a good job of like monitoring the workload, because they have the GPS in the vest and they monitor like how many miles you're putting in and your workload. And so if you ever kind of like push up into like the danger zone and doing too much, then they tailor back a lot.
That happens to me a lot.
Huh?
It happens to me a lot.
Yeah, when you push into the danger zone of your workouts.
Yeah, I work too hard.
Yeah. So no,
Tell them about
good.
Your fitness test.
Yeah, so we did the fitness test was it's funny, the first time we did the fitness test, we tried to do a variation of a yo-yo test.
Yeah,
it didn't work out.
But the second one.
And then a couple about a week later, we did the second fitness test, and literally the fitness test, it's not like if you fail, you can't play for the team. It's just to kind of compare every player and a competition to see who's fit, who's not fit.
To judge you.
To judge you, yeah. It's literally just a comparison against your teammates. But it was like another variation of the yo-yo test, and basically you kind of like had to run out and back, and then out and back and out and back. So a 3-time shuttle run in 30 seconds. And you start really short, like 15 yards, and then it goes to 20 yards, 25 yards, 30, 35, 40, and you do each distance 3 times. So in total, 9 shuttles basically at each distance, and you have a 15-second break after each one. So it's really confusing.
That makes sense.
It doesn't? So it's like there, back, 15-second break.
Yeah.
There, back, 15-second break. Do that one more time. And then now you go 5 yards further, again, 3 times that, and keep going. And the farthest one's about 40 yards, I think. And that one is killer. And but I finished it all. So I finished the last thing at the 40-yard one. I won. I think the second best person was got 2 stages behind me. And
you literally finished the fitness test.
Yeah, finished the fitness test, but there was no way I couldn't even stand up after the last one. I was telling Mimi when I was running back, I was just so determined to beat it. I started getting the tunnel vision of
literal
lightheaded, I'm going to pass out. Probably did one too many, but I just really wanted to beat the test. And I did. So it was good. So now, so now they probably have to ramp up the test difficulty in case somebody comes and beats me.
They're going to love you, the team next year.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, no, you drop out when you're done, It's not like you have to do that many stages. Yeah. So even if it's harder, I mean.
But still, when someone sets a bar higher, it makes you look worse.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
I'm like the kid who set the 100% on the test when.
Yeah, you literally set the curve.
Yeah, but. And what's funny too is this off season I didn't do. I really didn't do any fitness, fitness only by itself.
Yeah, you say that though, but you literally did 1v1s, 2v2s for hours and hours and hours. I feel like that's the best fitness you can do.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what's so good though. And what I really put to the test and improve though is you can really not just maintain, but improve fitness by just going with ball work, ball drills, game realistic drills. And as long as you're going and pushing yourself, competing against somebody who's also at a very high fitness level, you're going to get fit. Because I've seen people just do that and you can't get fit. You have to add in some fitness drills and stuff, but they're going against people that aren't fit. So then after 5 reps or whatever, they're like, time to chill, or the other person starts to slow down. You have to be going against somebody who's also extremely fit and a pro. But so, I mean, training with Chase, Rubio, Gio, Carlos, Cristo, all those guys, it was all other pros that are all fit and sharp. It was really easy to maintain fitness this off season. And then I came here, I did one John Terry fitness test, got 15 I was it wasn't that hard. So I was okay, I'm pretty happy with my fitness levels. So it was good. You should try the John Terry fitness test.
Well, I've done incline sprints. I just didn't do the John Terry.
You should do it. You should do it just at the speed that would work for you, whatever that is.
I can't run at the moment, so the speed would be
true.
4.
Your migraines have gotten a lot better though.
Yeah, but I haven't tried running.
You're just scared too.
Because the last time I tried running,
When was that?
In our last apartment.
Yeah.
I've been ramping up my cardio though, just not running. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's
the impact,
the up and down, or if it's literally the physical, I don't know what it is. Because I can do other things. I was doing, it's not even elliptical. It's something else. It looks kind of like elliptical. It's more of a step thing. I don't know, but I was doing that and like I was breathing like really hard. And I was like, this is probably how hard I'd be breathing if I was running, but it was fine.
Huh.
But I don't want to test I just don't want to test it.
You really don't. Yeah. You don't need to. It's good to get the heart rate up, but if you get the heart rate up in other ways, it works. So
just going to trick my head. Or I can just run without like moving up and down.
Power walk like Phil from Modern Family.
Yeah.
Speed walking.
With the shoes. With the soles.
Yeah. And then other than that, like, it's just been preseason, like just double days for the last 2 weeks now. So it's been going really, really well. The team's looking really good. I'm really enjoying like everybody on the team, the teammates. It's been pretty good so far. And we're just ramping up into like starting here to play our first few preseason games. So yeah, it's been really good start. And this podcast, again, it's kind of like the intro podcast. And my goal is to mix in this podcast. Like it's not just going to be with the teammates like I've done in the past. I kind of want to have like a sit down talk and interview with a teammate, then do like a solo like Q&A, then one of us like talking about something.
David Dobrik's podcast.
Huh?
Like David Dobrik's podcast.
With what? What do you mean?
I don't know. We need to make it like his.
Because he's just famous.
We need to have you at like a desk with your coffee cup where you talk to the guests.
Famous guests like Madison Beer and stuff.
Yeah. How do you know who that is?
Just randomly.
She's like 5.
First name. No, she's like 20, isn't
that's
she?
That's weird. No, she's like 5.
Then that is weird. No, Madison Beer's in her 20s, I feel like.
No.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Please, Google Madison Beer.
I will. No, but preseason has been going well. Can't complain. And then our first game is actually against Houston Dynamo. So I think we played 2 MLS teams. We play Houston Dynamo and FC Dallas this preseason, which I'm really like pumped about.
Good for you.
Huh?
It's like good for you.
You're not excited about those?
No, I
22. What did I tell you? 22 years
still
old.
Like 10. For some reason, when I say good for you, it sounds really sarcastic. And I had to cut it out of my vlog because you came home and you're like, I was filming Gucci or something. You're like, I just had the best day at training. I was like, good for you. And I was like, why did I sound like that? I don't mean it like that.
You have a mean soul, I think.
I know. It's just when I say that phrase, I can't say it in like a non-sarcastic way.
Yeah, no, I think it's just
it's
just your core.
Good for you. It just sounds mean. I can't.
Good for you is just a mean phrase in itself.
What are you supposed to say then?
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Proud of you. Pumped. Stoked.
I feel like that would be more sarcastic.
Let's hear it.
Pumped.
Like I'm pumped for you.
I'm pumped for you.
That was better than good for you. Good for you.
Good for you. I literally had to cut it out. I was like, oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, this will be the end of the podcast. I just want to do a little update for you guys. It's back, though. I'm really excited for it. The next one, I'm going to try to bring in a teammate, do the full sit-down talk with him.
Because I'm not good enough.
Mimi's not good enough. Her stories aren't as good as teammate stories. She's got to ramp up the story content or else she'll be cut forever out of the podcast.
In what topic that we talked about today could I have told a story? Your housing in Orange County? Let me tell you a story about that.
I'm just messing with you. No.
How can I contribute to this conversation?
You will always be a regular in the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I told you. It just sounds...
All right, guys. Peace.
It just comes out like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.